Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another hat show, obviously episode 279. And in this one, we will be talking about a win, Dad, a very emphatic win. You got the amount of goals we'd get right. I actually thought we'd lose the game, as we all know, like I said. But we did get an emphatic win, and for me, I'm sure a lot of you will agree in the chat, especially given the opposition that it is. It's probably the best win of the season so far. Definitely, especially away from home as well. We know over the years anyway, we do tend to play better away. Even the year we went up, we actually had a better away form than obviously at home. But that was a hopefully going to be a statement win. We have got 4 wins, and we are saying it's a corner turn. 3 of them we should have probably won the first 3, but I mean, this one you have to give the boys massive credit, and obviously Wilshere, Powell, and all the staff, because let's be honest, no one expected that. Let's be totally honest now. And a few of us said a win, obviously like yourself, Dad, Jackie, loads of others in the chat, but not like that. Not like that. So massive credit to the boys. But yeah, in terms of the lineup, so we actually matched Stockport in this game in terms of the 3 at the back. So we had Keeley in goal. We had a back 3 of Naismith, Anderson, and Mengi. We had Jones as a right wing back. We had Bramwell on the left. At midfield, we had Saville, Lamine, Walsh, and then Richards as well. And then obviously Wells up front. So that was interesting to see, that we went with the back 3. And I'll be honest, when I saw the back 3 when the lineup come out, I wasn't actually that nervous. And I know, I guess historically or recently, whatever you want to say about it, it hasn't really worked out. But I feel that's because, under Edwards and Bloomfield, we've been putting players, as the wing back that shouldn't be playing there, especially on the right or left side. Whereas this side, Bramwell can obviously play there, as we know, and obviously Asai Jones can play on the right side. So wasn't really phased by that. We all know Anderson's much better in the back 3 in terms of being the centre back. And then obviously Naismith, yes, he hasn't really performed to a level you'd think he would this season, but he does bring that leadership element. And then Mengi was always going to be an interesting one. Would Wilshere obviously play him again in this game? We obviously know Mengi on his day is good. So I wasn't really too phased by that. Good to see that Richards was playing again. Wilshere's obviously said a lot in his pre-match press conferences, how highly he rates him. He sees a lot of similarities to obviously when Wilshere was a player. Bit surprised we still went with Wells up front. I will be honest there. That's probably the only thing really looking at that lineup. And I know he got 2 in the last game, but yeah, I would have started Yates, like I said, going into the game. And then it was good to see Walsh starting, good to see Lamine starting again, and then obviously good to see Saville in. And then as for your bench, we had El Hamadi, we had Ali, we had Kadoa, Longwick, Hakeem, Shea, and Yates. So, very interesting bench there as well. Obviously, you have got a few defensive options, which, let's be honest, a lot of times recently we've been lucky to even have one defender on the bench or one defensive player. So good that we did have the options there. Obviously, still no Nordos in that lineup and things like that. So, like we said the other week, it probably does look like he's probably going to go, I'll be honest, because like we've said, when you've got Brown eventually coming back, could even be this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench. Obviously, you'll eventually have Elijah, hopefully early New Year. El Hamadi will be firing at some point. Hopefully, now he goes out international break, gets some goals for confidence. I just don't see where he gets in, to be honest. And then, like I said, when you've got them players back, or at least El Hamadi and Brown, for me, you've got to start playing 2 up front. And it's like I said on the watch along the other day, you've got to go to a 3-5-2, I think, personally, when we have more strikers firing. Because you even look at a bench the other day, with Wells starting, obviously you've got El Hamadi, Ali, who Wilshere did say when he wants to see Ali play, he does actually want to see him as a number 9 more so than out wide, which is interesting. And he is actually a striker. It hasn't really worked when he's played there for us, but it could work with 2. Obviously, in the future, he's got to work his way into the team now, to be quite honest with you. And then obviously, Kadoa is actually a striker, so you've got another option there, and obviously Yates. So you had loads of, striker options. So, especially when you get the more players back, we should be going with it. But how did you feel, honestly, Dad, when you saw that 3 at the back?
Well, I'm not sure if it was. Like, I couldn't really work it out, you know. And according to Flash scores, it was four at the back. Naismith on the left, Anderson and Mengi obviously in the middle, Jones on the right, um, and Richards on the right wing or right of the four, and Bramwell on the other side. Um, I think we was interchanging a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because you know I noticed Jones more forward than anything else. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes these could be deceiving anyway because you play in play and out of play, you play slightly differently. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it kind of worked. Well, it did work in the end, but you know, at the beginning of the match, you know, they could have been a couple of goals up, or do you know what I mean? So, um, but we had a strong bench, you know, in sort of form players starting again. Wells, you know, after his last two, you're going to try and get that consistency. He did really well. You weren't really getting the service that much either at times, I felt. So, but yeah, I'm not sure. Like, for me, all I know that was Mengi and Anderson was certainly at the back, but Naismith, obviously, he was there. But I just felt Jones was further forward. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just haven't really gone with flash scores because remember when we had Ali and they said some random
Yeah,
fucking Jamaican player, you know, that don't even play for us. So that's the only. And just looking at it, it looked like we were. To be honest, the only thing I couldn't work out because originally when the lineups come out, I thought it was a 3-5-1-1. So obviously Richards just behind Wells, and then obviously you know obviously the five, the three in midfield with the wing backs, and then obviously the three at the back. That's what I thought it was. But looking at it, it looked like Richards was still sort of on that right side, but then he was going in through the middle at times. So yeah, it's like you said, we did interchange by the looks of it as the game was going on. But we'll go through the comments because there is comments flying in, and I don't want to leave it too long. Paul says, "Good evening, lads. Big up to yourself, mate." He does say it's the best game this season. Yeah, I've got to agree. Going before that, I would say it was obviously, even though that game was handed to us, the Burton game, but the sense of the statement that this could put out, they're still top of the league. League One was crazy this weekend. Let's be honest, some of the results. I mean, all the teams towards the top losing, really. Bolton are right up there now. It's we're only 6 points off the top. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's tight, and it usually is in the EFL anyway. But yeah, man. With the game being on this Saturday, let's use this momentum. Yep, and obviously the club's come out. I did a little short yesterday and said that we will be playing that game. Me and you, Dad, we will be doing a watch along to that, guys. So if you're not going to do tune into that. But yeah, I'm glad it is, and it's like you said there. Yeah, use the momentum. We have to do that, and I don't think it's going to be an easy game against Rotherham. In the league, they're actually 6 games unbeaten. So I'm not going to, underestimate them. We can get a result if we play like we did on Saturday, definitely. But I do think it will be a close game. Jackie says, hi, Ty and Daz. Big up to yourself, Jackie. Yeah, that's another one. Makoso wasn't in the lineup too. Shows how things have changed in the last few months as he was used a lot early in the early games yet. Obviously, had that game last season, which broke him through away at Watford. And yeah, it's interesting what happens with him going forward. I mean, he could be on the way out like Nordos, to be honest. Which I don't know how to feel about it because we all know Makoso on this day is good. Not when he's playing as a right back or right wing back, but he shouldn't be playing there. But as a centre back, he could do well in this formation, I think, with a three on that right side. But then Mengi is playing how he's playing. You can't really drop him. So I don't know, man. It's difficult. LTFC Edit says we are so back. Big up to Stephen in the chat. Stephen also says Luton are back. Everyone's saying it in chat. And LTFC Edits does think it was a 5-4-1. Yeah, it could have been that. Last night it interchanged as the game went on. But yeah, going into the first half, like you said, Dad, we didn't start off too great. Obviously on a watch along, I was very surprised it didn't score. To be quite honest with you, had so many good chances, 2 headers just over the bar. Lowe, who we were rumoured to be looking at, obviously when we were searching for a striker, he was trying to continue his goal scoring record. I think he had 3 goals in a row going into this game. did have a chance. Keeley made a good save, and Keeley was really, really good in this game. Like we know, obviously, I gave him man of the match, but we'll talk about individual performances later on the player ratings. But yeah, a bit of pressure from them, and yeah, I mean, what we've seen a lot, I guess, in a lot of starting games this year, though.
Yeah, and normally we probably would have conceded one or two. I mean, Keeley was made some good early saves. Um, they had a couple of players out as well. Which a lot of their fans are saying that's the only reason they lost. But we've had a lot of players out for a long time. And it can affect. Yeah, but then you've got these. You sort of let's have it right. They've got a good manager. They're well set up and stuff, but they are like punching. You know what I mean? So a couple of good players on loan and things like that. And that's what happens, when you get a couple of injuries, especially at this level, if you haven't got the depth of the squad, you know what I mean? You've got to fight through that. They could have went ahead, but we've been like that. We've played like that, where we've not took our chances or we haven't scored, and then the other teams, we still had to create them chances. I'm only saying this because I've seen a few comments from some Stockport fans saying, we played better. That's the worst team we've seen here all season. Absolute nonsense. And if that's the case, it was the best performance of the season, considering how many games we were into the season. This is the sort of performance you've been expecting early on in the season, pretty much from the start. And things like that, and it's finally sort of coming together. You can see they're quite determined to keep the ball on the floor, keep calm. That's working a lot, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they started on the front foot as you'd expect them to do at home, top of the league. So, but you weather the storm sometimes, and that's what we did. And then we sort of got a foothold in the game. Started playing it around a bit more, and then pass it down the right. I think it's the interplay between might have been Saville and Bramall, or Anderson and Bramall. Regardless, anyway, he's excellent at crossing the ball into the box, low, high. Do you know what I mean? And then players just looking to get into the box. Richards was the first man there, and tapped it in.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into the goal in a second. Shout out to yourself, Mega Dark Flames. He says, can't believe Keeley is on target for Golden Glove so far. Shows how poor the league is so far. Yeah, I mean, he obviously got a clean sheet in this game. I've been a lot, critical of him this year, especially in particular that period, the Plymouth period. When we played them and then going into that Lincoln game. So I know he can do better. And obviously the game the other day, you can't complain. He was, he was really, really good. And, even when we signed him, Leighton Orient fans, they always said to me, him at claiming the ball is a bit of a weakness, but everything else he's pretty good at. But this game, I mean, claiming everything, even early on, when they were having the chances, he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And like I say, we'll get into individual performances later, but yeah, I mean, in terms of how our defence has been overall, it is a bit of a surprise that he's up there. I will say that. Because the defence, obviously the other day they were good, but in terms of the whole season, they've not been great. If we're rating it overall so far. I also agree with this. G1 says Wilshere not shy of changing formation to suit opposition, which is good, as long as players know their roles. So far, pretty much a case. Yep, totally agree, mate. Stephen says, first 20 minutes we were under the cosh, but we punished them as we took our chances. They didn't, exactly. I definitely trust Keeley more than Kaminsky, as he definitely had a clanger in him. I mean, I liked Kaminsky, but in terms of going forward, in the sense of getting a younger keeper and things like that, I don't mind it from that aspect, to be honest. But yeah, I liked them both. I liked them both. Obviously, you most likely would have seen my video when we signed Keeley. I was buzzing. Keeley did well at Leighton Orient, but yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what they said to me. But this game, I mean, claiming it, you wouldn't think he was ever suspect at him. I think that was the best thing he'd done. obviously some people might say the penalty saves, but in terms of what is a weakness for him, usually we haven't really seen it. It's more so been when he's come out at times, but yeah, he was good. Stephen says he's top keeper. He will improve with the more games he plays. Yep, no, 100%, mate. And he's still got a lot to learn overall. But yeah, in terms of getting that goal, so we did break through, like you say, Dad. Obviously, Richards getting his first goal for Luton, and there was a bit of an annoyance. Obviously on the watch along, I was saying there was a stage where, we've been frustrated going into games because we haven't even had a shot on target. We didn't even have a shot for a very long time in this game. And then what made me believe we could start before we even got the goal was the moment where Bramall, they tried to tackle him, but he still had the ball. He crossed it in. Lamine was the only one in the box, though, which was frustrating. And I did say on the watch along, Wells might be getting told to drop deeper, but I feel when you've got one up front, and with all due respect, he's not got loads of pace. I feel he needs to be in the box. Especially he can get goals, but he's just like Yates as well, and obviously El Hamadi had that chance. They just need them couple of goals for confidence to really kick on. And like I say, I think we do need two up front eventually as the season goes on. Like I say, especially with much strikers we got. But yeah, that cross from Bramall, that moment, even though no one was there, it was a great cross if someone was there, just a bit behind where Lamine was. I thought we could have a chance coming up. And then we did. Obviously, again, it was Bramall on that left-hand side. I thought he was the best player in terms of starting off the game for us when we did, obviously, get out of that spell of Stockport having chances upon chances. Then he plays it across. And to be fair, I know he hasn't played to his level really this year, but Naismith deserves credit in the goal, I feel, because he did obviously, make a run, and Bramall took it, played it in to Richards, and Richards, that reminded me of like a Luke Berry goal, try just getting there, getting across and getting it in. Very similar, I'd say, to probably Luke Berry's equaliser at Blackburn away all them years ago. But fair play to Richards, still very, very young and doing what he's doing. I mean, massive, massive shout out to him, isn't it, though?
Yeah, great. It's not just that. It's this is he looks very effective, comfortable on the ball, not afraid to take anyone on, growing in confidence, as you said. I mean, I think we first saw him was in pre-season against Bournemouth, and he went. I don't think he started so. He was just like warming up and stuff, and he looked, a bit not out of his depth, but do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously he's played at elite. It just maybe a little bit in awe of the other players around him. Do you know what I mean? Like, but obviously, yeah, he's just, since we've been utilising him more. I mean, earlier on in the season under Bloomfield, people were calling for him to start and things like that, and he didn't. But now he is. He's sort of, he's still, you've got to look after him. Still a good option. But the way he's going, he's definitely going to be starting a lot of games because he's so dynamic and he offers a lot. You know what I mean? So yeah, just great run into the box. Bramall just getting down that left. We haven't had that since Doughty. That kind of style. So yeah, it's good to see that. And there was other players running in as well who possibly could have got on the end of it. Jones was in there. I think Lamine was in there. Walsh was kind of lurking. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also, what I will say about Richards. So yeah, when that Boreham Wood game we went to, Dad, obviously that was the day we signed him. And I remember telling you when you obviously picked me and Jamie up to obviously go. And yeah, I mean, for him, it was a completely different move anyway, wasn't it? In terms of, obviously moving quite far away from home and things like that. Obviously, 18 years old. So it's always going to take him a bit of time to settle in. But yeah, even like you say, people were calling for him to start a lot more under Bloomfield. I mean, Mega Dark Flames has said here, don't know why Bloomfield used Richards so little. He's been a bright spark. And yeah, the moment where I've seen Richards proper kick on, obviously, it's still got a lot to learn, and I don't want to get too carried away, but it probably was that Northampton away game. None of us as fans probably expected him to be able to play on the right, especially as well as he did in that game. And especially even doing defensive work. he's actually a cam, and he come back, was defending really well in that game at times as well. He's looking like a great player, and let's see. I can't really see him going out of the team at this moment in time, just because how effective he's being, and like I said earlier, how highly Wilshere rates him and sees little things of what Wilshere had in his game. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, well, more so me. I'm not sure if you're the same, Dad, but when we were playing the Virtue Trophy games, I wanted to see him definitely start in them games for sure. And I think he didn't start in the Cambridge away game, I think it was, when we wanted to see him in that game. I know he obviously started in a Barnet one, but yeah, I mean, in terms of the league now, he's proper stake in the claim, to be starting. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I've seen a lot of people comparing the two. Nelson's obviously had a bit of a not really been in the lineup. Another player, I've sort of forgot about until people have been mentioning him, and that's the thing. And I think I've said that a few times with Nelson myself. I think he is a good player, but you look at Richards. He's younger as well. He's just come in and he's already. I don't want to be harsh on Nelson, but he's already done more than Nelson has for me. Yes, Nelson's had a few good moments. Scored that great goal against QPR in the cup, and things like that. But overall, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's not really getting the sniff now, and he has, given that he's older as well. There has been games where I felt he's rushed things, and maybe panicked a little bit. I mean, you look at that Plymouth game, obviously the goal they scored right on half time, not really a great time to concede. Sometimes he's had like rush shots and things like that. And again, Richards probably will have that at some point, but I just think the way he's come in, it's going to be hard for Nelson to come back in, and to be honest. So, yeah, we shall see regarding that. But yeah, we go 1-0 up. And then shortly after, the boost, the morale that gave us to go on and try and get another goal. And then obviously we did. Jones got fouled. He done really well running at players. We know how good he is at that, causing a threat. And then Bramall up he stepped. Obviously, we know he's a very good free kick taker. We saw it against Barnet. And, I said on the watch along, this is a great opportunity, especially in the position we're in terms of how far out he is from the goal. And he put it in. And like you said, Dad, to me, you believe that one was better than the Barnet free kick. I mean, guys in the chat, let me know, was it better than that? But, I mean, from there on in, you're thinking this could be a very good afternoon, Dad.
Yeah, I think it was better because the Barnet one, it was maybe you could say a bit unexpected. It wasn't as an important game. I think he probably had more time over this. The keeper would have been prepared. They would have known that from that position, Bramall's likely to shoot. And he did, and yeah, the keeper kind of got a fingertip to it, but it was just too powerful, too direct, like very dangerous in that position. So no one knew that he'd had that. You could have said, oh, maybe the Barnet one was a bit of a fluke, but it wasn't. You could see that he meant to do it, and he believes in himself. And yeah, another great finish, and he deserved it. Already got an assist, and then that kind of even more G'd us up even more. And while he celebrated it, he sort of held off, and then he ran into the crowd. It was nice to see, considering he was, the other signings are like sort of, costing money, kind of big name signings, this, that, and the other. He come in sort of last-ish, and as our Doughty's gone, let's just grab someone. Do you know what I mean? For me, he's been really effective. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly what we need. I mean, he probably. I don't remember. I know Doughty scored a couple of free kicks, decent ones as well, but he's just being consistent, and and he's quite versatile as well. So it's good to see. Yeah, good goal.
Yeah, I agree. And with Bramall, he got a lot of criticism. Obviously, there was a lot of Rotherham and Portsmouth fans telling us, they weren't really too convinced when he was there. So just naturally, because we haven't really seen him play as well, we were a bit, I guess, disheartened. But he's come in and he's been really, really consistent. And a worry a lot of fans do have is, and I've said it as myself a lot, is if he gets injured on that left side, we haven't really got as much confidence as we have with players playing there compared to the right. So that is a bit of a worry. if he does get injured. So hopefully he doesn't by January. To be honest, that's how I see it, because I think in January we need to go out and get another option for him. Someone that can maybe, even if they're younger, just someone, or we've got obviously Ethan Archer. He could be that guy actually thinking about it, to be honest. Obviously, he's playing tonight. So I might have a little look at that, to be honest, or we expect him to start anyway for Cheltenham. So, yeah, we shall see. But yeah, like you say here, we aren't far from the January window. No, by the time it will be that time to get in. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what we actually do there. Obviously, just historically, it is harder to actually, do business in January and things like that. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, there is a few positions I think we do need to fill, especially if players go out, whether that's on loan or permanently. I think there is certain positions we will need to just sharpen up on a little bit. That's how I see it. But yeah, so like we say, obviously we go 2-0 up and it's absolutely booming. The away fans are absolutely loving it. Singing top of the league, you're having a laugh, all of that stuff. And then, I guess the last talking point of the first half is probably the yellow card from Bramall. And again, it's good to see that he's getting stuck in. I'll be honest, at the time I was a little bit frustrated with it, but yeah, in terms of the tackle, it was definitely a card. But yeah, you weren't too annoyed with it though, was your dad, when you?
Because they were putting on just a little bit of pressure, and we kind of panicked a little bit, and it was just one of them, trying to let's win this ball, that's going to happen. Saville done it later on in the game as well. So, as long as after that he doesn't lose his head or anything and maintains, and continues playing well, then that's what counts. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. And then moving on to that second half, obviously you mentioned it there, Saville getting a yellow card, which means he does miss the next game. Apparently, I thought he would miss this weekend's game, but apparently it might not be. It might follow through because he's on international break. So I don't actually know if that is the case. But either way, he misses one game. We know that. It's just, what game will that be? It was inevitable he was going to get a yellow card at some point, but that, again, Saville's one of them players. I don't mind when he gets the yellows, to be honest, because he's getting stuck in and things. And sometimes he is a bit, I guess, argumentative with the ref, but you got to be, you got to be. And he is what I feel we've been lacking in terms of in the middle in the last 2 years, that leadership from the middle of the park. So I don't mind it as much. And obviously we've called the game ahead, so we obviously have faith in the midfielders. We've got them, rightly so. There's a lot of things we can do. Obviously, we've got Walsh back now as well, as we know. Obviously, Richards on the form he's on. You've got Lamine, and you've got other options as well. Hakeem as well, who I keep forgetting about, who is actually a CDM. So he might even, go in there, for the game on Saturday. So there is the options there. But yeah, not too disheartened with that yellow card, even though it's a ban, Dad.
Not really. Sometimes there's no point like just going, oh, whatever. It's all timing, and it happens. It gets reset. But him and Walsh work really well together in this game. And he could. Some people have been a bit critical of Saville and stuff like that. So we want to be a bit careful. Obviously, it happens. But whoever you put there to cover has got to be able. Obviously, there's not the same player, but they've got to be able to hold that, because I think you'll find that you if he's not playing, you will miss him. Do you know what I mean? I know Walsh was all right there working with him, but we know Walsh is got a rash challenge in him, decisions and that. Sometimes he gets easily wound up. He was a little bit in this game, even though he was excellent passing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's do you put Nakamba in there? Maybe, but the thing is, why not put a Dauphin in there? It's against his former club as well. If anyone knows how to handle some of their players, it'll be him. So yeah, it's interesting. They were poor at the beginning. Well, they started off all right, and then I think they lost their striker, got injured. I don't know if he's back now, the one that used to play for us. but they've been picking up recently. So if anything, it is a good time to play them, because we need to keep testing ourselves and against form teams. I think they're the form team in the league at the moment. And we just need to be picking up them points. We've still got a game in hand, I think, against Huddersfield as well. Is that home or away? I can't remember.
It's home.
It's home as well. So but we're going to miss him, I think. But who have we got after Rotherham? The Leighton Orient, is it?
I think it's Barnsley away, I think. And then I think Leighton Orient's a bit late. I think then we got maybe the FA Cup, and then, because I know we got the FA Cup game, and then Leighton Orient on the Tuesday.
Well, we'll see what happens anyway. But
no, I agree. Yeah, I actually forgot Hakeem against his former club. Yeah, and people kept mentioning, because obviously I said about the midfield I'd go with for the Rotherham game. I did say Lamine, Walsh and Clark, but then I keep forgetting about Hakeem, because, obviously when he has played, he's played right back, but then again, he hasn't played as much to actually remember him, but I would, the more I think about it, I would put him in as that CDM, because that's what he actually is as well. So let's see him there against his former team. I know a lot of the players, and obviously he did mention Nombe as well, Dad. Yeah, he did come on. I think he come on or he come off 1 or 2 in the Lincoln game, so I know he is available and he's back. So yeah, let's hope a former player does not do any of that scoring business, things like that. But I agree with this as well. From Mega Dot Flames, he does say we need to look for a younger option. I mean, there was the rumours, whether they were true or not. Obviously, we're not going to get him now. But Terry Taylor, who's obviously at Northampton, come up against him a few weeks ago. He's 24. There was the rumours of us looking at him. So I agree. I think we do need to, because, you think at the end of the season, Nakamba probably won't be here, or maybe even January, who knows. So, yeah. And then obviously Saville is a little bit older. So, yeah, I agree. You need to sort of get someone who's going to, learn a bit from Hakeem eventually when he hopefully plays there. And obviously Saville being the main one. So, yeah, I do agree. Yeah, exactly. Didn't even come on the other day as well. So, yeah, I agree. And that's what people are saying. Hopefully he was rested going into that Rotherham game, which a lot of the players, like we said. Big up to Luton, lad. He says, evening all. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you're well. But yeah, moving into, obviously, after the Saville yellow card, they did get a penalty. Now, it's 50-50, the Jones one. I can see why it's given, but then it's annoying because I see it sometimes where they're not given. I guess in terms of strength, shoulder barge is the main one that is allowed in terms of football nowadays. According to some refs no. Don't know, it's 50-50. I can see it from both sides. I've seen us give away worse penalties, over the last couple of years. So I'm not really going to be too critical of him, especially of how good he was in this game. Like I said in the reaction, he's like a cheat code in this league. It's just the way he's just come in, just been as good as he has been. It's pretty mad, to be honest. But yeah, the penalty itself, I mean, Josh Keeley, you thought they were going to score. Personally, I probably thought they were going to get a bit of confidence and things like that. But Keeley, great save. And a lot of people saying that is the hopeful turning point of the season, I guess, looking back at it. And again, that just summed up Keeley's performance, didn't it, Doug?
Yeah, it was good. Good save. Not a great penalty, really, but, he still saved it. And then for me, even more props to Bramall, because it sort of diverted it into, the oncoming players, and he just whacked it away. Almost got the same cheer as the save did. Regarding the penalty, I think what it was in the build-up to that, Jones, whether you're defending or not, like you defend as a team, and he kind of lost his man and then thought shit, and then panicked and run towards him to try and, get in the way of him, and just ended up, a bit of a clumsy challenge, and I think that's what the refs see it as. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't just see that instant; you see the build up to it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what. And if it was the other way around, I would have probably wanted that as a penalty as well. To be fair, but important save, because then it could have changed the momentum back to them a little bit, but it didn't. So it just galvanised us even more. Just before that, Richards played a through ball to Wells, probably should have. I know he got it on target. I mean, that keeper's, he's experienced keeper. I don't think he's their number one keeper. I think he's like 37. I think he's like a backup keeper, but he made a really good save. Maybe he should have hit it lower. Do you know what I mean? But he still got it on target. But yeah, that probably would have killed the game even earlier. But yeah, great save, and then great clearance from Bramwell as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what spurred the crowd on even more, obviously, away end. The save, and then there was sort of like a yes, and then the clearance, there was another one. It was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, from that moment in, I mean, I did say at half time on the watch along, I felt it was one of them games where it was like the Forest Green game in terms of being 2-0 up at half time. But then this game, I felt, especially if us being the away team, if we get the next goal, we'll go on to win. Whereas if they get the next goal, it's game on, sort of thing. That's how I saw it. And, and obviously we did get the next goal. And it was obviously Asaya Jones, and it was a good finish. Good finish, wound up their their home fans, which was obviously quite funny. And obviously gave them the 3-0. I remember when we beat West Brom once, 2-0, 2-0 at home, and Ruddock gave it the 2-0, and they were proper rattled. So it's good to see that that shithousery, I guess, if you want to call it that. But from that moment in, you're thinking, wow, 3-0 away at top of the league. Especially with how we've been throughout the season. Like I said earlier, a lot of us, if we did predict to win, it would have been a narrow win. But you got how many goals we get right, Dad, like I say. But yeah, from that moment in, it was absolutely brilliant, and that was the game for sure done, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's plain sailing. I got it right. It was actually Naismith who cleared it, not Bramwell. But it was it was still a great clearance. And then a little turn from Richards down the line, great play. We just started spreading the ball about more. Do you know what I mean? Running the channels and stuff like that. Great turn from him. Jones bursting forward, pointed to exactly where he wanted it. Could have squared it as well, but no, just shot across goal, 3-0. Gave their fans a bit of stick, but he does that anyway. And come back 2 games in, he got an assist and a goal. Won the free kick that led to Bramwell's goal. Should be really effective, do you know what I mean? And enjoying playing his football. He's been out for, unfortunate in pre-season. So yeah, it's good to see. And then from then, we just controlled the game really. Do you know what I mean? If we wanted to, we just took our foot off the gas. It was quite interesting to see for the last 10 minutes, an injury time, that we were just passing it around, just keeping the ball. And I haven't seen us do that for ages. It was like not weird to see, but nice to see that we were just calm and comfortable on the ball, and we didn't need to rush things to go and get another one, even though it's 3-0 up. It was sort of just giving that, just passing it around, keeping it confident. Let it come at us if you want to try and score that goal. We'll hit you on the break. And by then their confidence had gone. So yeah, it was good. And then they got Matey Boy sent off. Again, another lovely turn by Kadua, and he weren't going to catch him, and he come on as well, and was causing problems. He was always going to go, because I knew it's a yellow, but I'd forgot that Matey Boy was already on a yellow, and then that was it. Can't really be grumbling about that. And we could have stepped on the pace even more, but sometimes you just don't need to. You just need to play your game right and just get confident playing, because that's the only time you're going to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like passing it around and just looking to cause problems. And I think we had other opportunities after that.
El Hamidi cleared off the line.
Yeah, I mean that was going wide as well, like actually. So their defender obviously rushed in, because you can never know. If he'd have just stood there, he'd have got ripped to bits. But the game's done. He's just getting minutes back as well, and then definitely. And that's like third gear for us. I still feel, and we've still got other players who are not fully up to speed yet as well. But yeah, it's definitely after the Lord four wins in a row. That has to be the turning point, surely. Obviously, there's going to be blips still. You know what I mean. But we need to be going on quite a strong run to get into the position we need to be to attack promotion, which is ultimately is the target anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And obviously, with this win, like I say, we are obviously 6 points off the top. Not quite looking at the top yet. I'm just hoping to, getting in around them playoffs. That's what we need to be doing. And then, if we can build on that, even better. But yeah, that's how I see it regarding that. But yeah. Oh, sorry, my thing went on mute by accident. But yeah, we'll go through some comments. And again, I agree with these comments. We miss Jones 100%. Morris as well. Morris. To think, especially how he started life at Luton. You've still got him to come in as well. When he is back. It's going to be mental, mate. It's going to be absolutely mental. And we've seen from the Northampton game, Jones can play on the left. Kadoa can as well. So maybe if like 1 week Jones isn't like 100% from start from minute one, put Kadoa on the left. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I said earlier, Ali is going to have to fight really hard to even get a place in the team at the moment. And that's with Morris out on one side as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see it. Obviously, talk about the last 2 pens that have been obviously given against us. Yeah, the shoulder barge for me is 50-50, like I say. I can see it from both sides. But yeah, I think the kick of the arm, that was the Anderson one, wasn't it? That was, yeah, I mean, that was, yeah, again, that's you see them given and you don't see them given. That's what annoys me. There's no consistency. Like, we'll watch another game, I don't know, whenever, probably maybe this week in the internationals, and you'll see a penalty not given for that. So yeah, I was annoyed with the Anderson one, and we obviously watched that game. We were like gutted that it was sort of given, to be honest. But yeah, this one, like I say, I can see it from both sides. G1 says, love to see a 100-meter sprint race between Ali, Morris, Jones, and Bramall. Probably happened in training. Yeah, probably. Just don't run too far and pull your hamstring. Just shows that our place in the league is false. Hopefully, we can push up the league and get into the top 2. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I'm looking at it, try and get into the playoffs for now. But yeah, like obviously, if we're in a good, like obviously, like I say, we're only 6 points off. So try and build on it and just keep this momentum going for as long as you can. And that is why it's good from the clubs, because obviously the clubs have to agree at Luton and Rotherham that they do both want to play this game. And I think it will be a really good game. Obviously, we'll preview it on Friday. But in terms of how they're doing, obviously 6 unbeaten in the league, obviously us 4 unbeaten, we're both on a bit of a roll now. So it should be a pretty interesting game, to be honest. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. And that's the problem. But yeah, moving on to going to the player ratings. So it's going to be a lot of high ratings for this game. Do get involved in the chat as well. Josh Keeley in goal. Like I said in my match reaction, man of the match for me. Good performance from him. Really, really good to see. And yeah, he definitely thoroughly deserved that clean sheet. So for me, I will give him, you know what, I'll give him an 8.5. Save the penalty as well.
Did you say he's your man of the match, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was excellent. Best we've seen him so far. This is what we expect from him. Got a yellow card for time wasting. Great save for the penalty. Other good saves as well. We're up there with a lot of players. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yep. And me putting Keeley as man of match. That's his second vote of the season. Keeley 8 says G1. Obviously 8.5 says Paul. And then thought that yellow was silly. I'll be honest, mate. You might have to remind me that yellow. I can't even remember.
I've done it like just taking the time that you can, but
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I could see why you might be a little bit annoyed with that. Especially, I mean, when did he even get it? Let me have a look. When did he even get it? What minute? 65th. Yeah, we're 2-0 up. Yeah, I can maybe see it. I actually can't even remember it to be honest. But yeah, Keely 9 says Jackie. And then moving on to we'll go over to Mengi. You know, I've obviously put him in the title of this video. Tremendous turnaround from TEDEN Mengi. You know, he has been really, really good. Obviously, especially under Wilshere. You know, obviously he has had a few, I guess, blunders, but especially towards the end of games, tackles. You know, the Northampton game, great tackle at one point. You know, obviously this game, great tackle at one point. You know, the Forest Green game, he knew he didn't perform to a great level. He comes out and apologises. Don't think I've ever seen that, even when we was in the Prem from him. You know, he's proper got that determination to play for us now. And, you know, obviously Wilshere coming in is a massive benefit of that, I do believe. Especially of how, you know, highly Wilshere's obviously spoke about him as well. It'll give him a bit of confidence and belief. But yeah, tremendous turnaround from TEDEN Mengi. So I've got to give him a lot of credit. But yeah, as for a rating in this game, I'll give him a 7.5 actually.
Yeah, 7.5. Much better from him. More that we're used to seeing. He had no, I think him, we nearly conceded in the first half, and him, Keely, were having a row. Or Keely was telling the defenders off anyway. But yeah, that last ditch sort of tackle, that's what we're used to seeing from him. And yeah, just easing into how he should be, basically. And you know, we started him, and he didn't let us down, did he? So 7.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Mengi 8 says Paul. Mengi 8 from me. I hope you keep until the end of the season. Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting if we can. Obviously, a lot of us are thinking January, but I mean the way obviously he's been under Wilshere, he might want to stay till at least the end of the season. So hopefully, because I believe and I stand by it, I think he is our best defender. I think he can play anywhere across the three. And yeah, I do think he is, and that was the worry with him. It was just the attitude, you know, was it there, you know? But it's definitely there at this moment in time. So massive shout out to him. 8.5 says Jackie. Yeah, exactly, mate, exactly. And then moving on to go over to Anderson again. Really good game I felt from him. You know, a lot of people criticised Anderson. Obviously, we're ones that don't really criticise him. I do think he is definitely better in the back three, though. But I thought this game he was good, so I'll give him a 7.
I'd give him an 8. I thought he was winning pretty much every single header that came into the box. He won his tackles, his duels. He was calm with passing it out, just winning everything. You know what I mean? And being like the first focal point of getting the ball away. It was 100% him. I thought he was excellent at it, so I'll give him an 8.
And that is his biggest strength, I would say. You know, aerially heading stuff away. I mean, there's been so many games I've watched of him. You know, when he has played, and obviously, you know, he did have injury problems and things like that. But I mean, heading the ball away. You know, people were going about McGuinness. I think very similar in that sense at doing stuff like that. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Anderson 7.5, much better in a 3. Yeah, exactly. Jackie's gone 8.5. But yeah, moving on to Naismith. Like I say, I think he deserves credit in the first goal. The yellow card was frustrating. You know, looking back at it as well, it was frustrating, but it was a better performance of what I have seen from him. So again, I'll give him a 7 as well.
I'll give him 7.5. A lot more composed. Apart from that, obviously that challenge, but Bramwell done the same. Do you know what I mean? And then you know, calmed down after that, and just done the basics right and things like that. So I'll give him a 7.5. You got mute, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Flipping thing keeps automatically doing that. 7.5 says Paul, so he agrees with you. Mega.flames 7. Being honest, he's my lowest rated player, but still solid. Yeah, I mean the 7, you know, still good for the lowest rated. But yeah, moving on to we'll go over to who should we go over to? We'll go over to Jones. Start for Jones. You know, close second for man of the match for me. Just again, like I said in the reaction, the fact that he's come back and sometimes naturally it takes players a while. even though his weren't really a football injury, it still takes a while to get into the grips of things. He's come in and he's just been so impactful already. He's showing that in my opinion, right now, he's too good for this league. I'll be honest. So yeah, really good performance. Obviously, got the goal to definitely confirm the win. Obviously, earned the free kick, like you say, for the second goal. So yeah, for me, he gets an 8.
Yeah, right up there. Good performance. Just what we need. This is what people want about when we've got our Luton back. That kind of flair and wanting to go forward and help the team and enjoy it and things like that. Gave away the penalty, but what's it been back to game and a half? And got this. You know what I mean? Really good. 8.
Yep, there we go. We agree there. Jackie's for Naismith 7.5. Jones 8. Says Paul 9.5. And my man of the match. We look so much better with him. Yeah, I totally agree. I'd say it was close man of the match for me. But yeah, I totally agree, mate. 8.5. And then moving on to the other side, Bramall. Again, similar to Naismith with the yellow card, bit frustrating. But other than that, like I said on the watch along, I felt, when we were 1-0 up and when we were leading to go 1-0 up, he was our best player. But yeah, the yellow card knocks his rating down a little bit from me, but he still gets a good rating from me, 7.5.
He's my man of the match, mate. Created first, scored the second, just lively. Like I've said to you before, he was out. Oh, he's just a replacement for Doughty on a free. Like, who is he? Coming last in the door. And then, he's already created chances previous to that, and it's just looked better and better. And I think, better than Ali, really doing well in the team. He's my man of the match, mate. 8.5.
There you go. That's his first vote from any of us for the season. So there you go. 8.5 says Paul as well. Yeah, everyone think he's going 8.5 for him. Jackie has as well. Yeah, literally everyone has. Keep doing those free kicks. Yeah, exactly. And also the thing is as well, there was, I mentioned it in the reaction. Yeah, the Forest Green game. Obviously, he was confident to take the free kick there as well. And that led to us scoring as much as he didn't score it. So I don't mind that at all. And he did say in his Barnet reaction when he scored, obviously, that free kick, he's so, he wants to take him. Anytime, we've got a free kick in a good position, he wants to be the one to take him. And I do like that confidence because I was saying it, I think, to you the other day, Dad, since probably Bree/Moncur, we haven't really had anyone who's really, been confident with in terms of scoring free kicks, really. So, yeah, it's good to see that we finally got someone again for that aspect. But yeah, moving on to next player, we'll go over to Saville. Did get a yellow card. But yeah, I mean, there was decent moments from him. I'll just give him a 7.
I thought he was doing. He probably weren't looking to get this much stuck in because of the yellow card thing and that, but it happened. But doing what he was doing, mopping up and that. That's basically what you have to do at times, especially if we're going forward. He hasn't really got awful lot to do. He just has to cover there and things like that. But yeah, decent performance still. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah. Concede Bramwell was one of the unsung heroes. Yeah, it goes back to what we said earlier, with him in the sense of, when we did sign him, and even from me, there was a bit of, I guess, I was a bit sceptical, just given what other opposition fans said about him. I mean, it was right now it is the Alfie Doughty replacement, but I mean, he's come in, he's done really well. He has done really well. The only one bad game I can really think of him having was probably that Cambridge game in the cup, but then again, everyone was pretty poor in that game. So, I can't really use that game in terms of just him individually, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw the first game where I thought it'd be good for us was Barnet, and people might say it's only Barnet, but I just thought some of the runs he was making in that game, he showed that he can actually go forward and do stuff. So, yeah. 7.5 for Saville. 7.5, decent enough. Jackie's gone 7.5 as well. Yep, fair enough. And then moving on we'll go over to Lamine. Yeah, again, I thought he was decent in this game. Good to see him making them attacking runs at times and trying to get onto the end of things. So yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well.
I'll give him seven, yeah, 7.5. Not as effective as he has been, but the last two games. But obviously, he was really good in them. But still, getting forward, making the runs. But didn't get on the score sheet or whatever. But still performed pretty well. So yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, Mega Dark Flames, 7.5. A little quiet, but solid. Yeah, I agree. 7.5 as well. And then yeah, moving on to go over to Walsh. Again, I thought he was good in this game. Fair play to Walsh because there was some person on Twitter before the game that said basically £100 he'll let us down today, Walsh. He replied to it after the game and said, I hope you lost your £100. So, it's one of them. But yeah, I mean, bit harsh anyway to say that to Walsh because there was obviously that tackle he did in the Forest Green game. If he'd done that last year, he'd probably got sent off. But, based on that, he's improved on that element of his game. Technically, we know how good he is anyway. It's just his discipline. That was his only letdown, but he seems to have worked on that. And yeah, I mean, right now he's probably a nailed on starter. I would say just the stuff he brings in terms of pushing out that pass and things like that. So fair play to him. I will give him a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Look really good in the midfield. Gives you other options. Always looking to either sort of mop up in the passing aspect. And then spraying it out where he can and things like that. Intelligent player. There was only one moment in the second half where I think he was like in the box and he was like, just dribbling it about and a little bit. And I was like, come on, just get rid of it. And that's more to the fact that, when we've done that previously, that's when we've just been hit. And I just thought you can't really be doing that. But we still ended up getting rid of it. It's still good performance. Worked well for Saville, and his place in the team, and he's being able to play to his best of his abilities, kind of thing. Giving that a little bit of freedom. 7.5.
Yeah. Walsh 8. Lamine 7.5. Says Jackie. Walsh 8. One of the ones in the engine room who keeps going. Yeah, exactly. Jackie's gone 8 as well. Then moving on we will go over to Richards. Yeah, obviously got the first goal for us. Hopefully the first of many. And yeah, really good performance again from him. I will give him do you know what? I actually give him an 8.
Yeah, 8 easily. Assist, goal. Some really good play from him. Bearing in mind he's only, playing out of position, if you like. Young. Just seems hungry and wanting to be on the pitch. Links up well with other players. And he could be one to watch this season for us. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, really good to see. Close up there for man of the match for me as well. But yeah, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's the one just underneath Jones in terms of the man of the matches for this game. 9 says Paul. 8.5, close to 9. Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to Wells. I guess in terms of the starting 11, probably the lowest rated player for me. Did have 2 chances. The second chance in the first half for me should have scored, I'll be honest. So I'll have to give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. I don't want to be too harsh, but I feel like he got a couple of bits, but he wasn't getting that service. We've said it before sometimes. I don't think against better teams and opposition and with his age and stuff, up front on his own. Now I think he's better off in a 2. I'd like to see us play a 2 at home, especially. But based on his last couple of performances, that's why he got the start. Do you know what I mean? So, but we've got we've got a lot of options now, so we need to be utilising that. I think he might be on the international duty, possibly. I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, 7.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually tried to have a look earlier because I've already made my thumbnail, guys, for the watch along, and I put him on it. And I was thinking, hold up, he might not even be on it. So I might have changed it during the week. They might have a late call. I don't know. I tried to have a look on their social medias, and they've obviously posted the games. They're actually playing Chong's Nation again, which they did, and he had not a great game in that. So I'm not sure. And obviously, he did come back last time, didn't he? Due to them, obviously, apparent personal issues. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with that, in the sense of him maybe not getting picked this time. They might not want to do it. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't seen anything on that. Like I say, the only players I've seen that are going is obviously Saville, obviously Evans, but he's in the youth team. And who was the other one? Who was it? Who was it? El Hamadi. And yeah, I think that's all I've seen really. So yeah, Wells 7.5. Just wish he'll put things away. Yeah, that's the disappointment. That is a disappointment. He needs a striker next to him. And again, that goes back to what you just said, Dad. Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially like you say, Dad, the home games, because I mean, you even look at the glimpses when we have played two up front. And again, people might say the opposition weren't great, but the Barnet game, I mean, what was it then? Nordos and Yates, they work pretty well together. So I'm sure when like El Hamadi's firing, I think even we should give Wells and Yates a go, to be honest.
Mm.
I think we should give that a go because I think they could work well together, especially in this league. You would think, like I've already said about Yates, I mean, to get Blackpool 14 goals and they finished 23rd in the championship, should be able to score at this level. And obviously it's the same with Wells getting 10 goals in championship, massive part of Bristol City for many years. So they should. But yeah, I agree. It's just when he gets the chances, that's the frustrating thing. But it's not just him, it is Yates as well, But yeah, I agree. I think they've got to be playing, because it's sort of, feed off each other, help each other. Do you know what I mean? I just think they'll be better as we go forward. Wells 7.5 says Jackie. I think Wells should be used next Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, El Hamadi's away, so he ain't going to be in the lineup. But you meant Yates. Yeah. I think we got to start giving Yates a go, mate. I do think like a bit more of a go as well. To be honest, because I know there was a disappointment at Northampton, and I was annoyed that he didn't score. Because he had two great chances, especially as soon as he come on. But again, if you play them both there, I really think they could benefit each other, and that's not even just them. That's just whoever plays up front with each other. And especially if you've got like Brown back for this weekend, then you've got loads of strikers on the bench. You have even more. So, yeah, I do agree. But yeah, in terms of the substitutions now, Kadoa, when he come on, I was like, oh yeah, we got Kadoa as well. I mean, like that's another option, and we're in a obviously very good position there. And yeah, I thought he tried to make things happen. Obviously, got their player sent off, Dodson, second yellow. So yeah, I will give him I'll go for 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Come on, caused problems, gave them things to think about, and just helped us sort of ease the rest of the game out, basically. So yeah, 7. And then the other, I'll just give a 6.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
And Alvin.
Yeah, Hakeem Yates and I didn't actually realise Hakeem come on. To be honest, as me saying earlier, he's fully rested. But he basically was at that point. I mean, 12 minutes to go. We're in a very good position anyway. You might as well said he was, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I do think we did want to get rid of him in the summer. But obviously, he was a difficult one, like I always said, especially when I did that press conference reaction video where Bloomfield basically said he got to compete when we had Bloomfield. And like I say with him, it's interesting because like he should be doing well at this level. And when he has played, he has done all right. And again, I think that's he had Brighton under 21s and I can't even remember who else. But still, he is a good player. But obviously, it's going to be hard to get rid of him because his age and stuff. But I think he should be in the squad more, even if it's on the bench, because especially now, even if we do play Hakeem in that sort of role that Saville usually plays, you need cover. Do you know what I mean? So putting the camera on the bench, that's personally what I would do. I don't, like I say, Zimbabwe have got friendly, but I'm pretty sure he's not playing in that. Not all being called up. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows in the chat, but I don't actually think he's been called up this time. So yeah, it's one of them. But even when he's not, and say for example, Saville is banned for the next game, against Barnsley, I'm pretty sure it's Barnsley, then you need that other option if it's not Hakeem or Nakamba starting, one or the other. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see it. Kadoa 6.5, 7.5 says Jackie. Yep, fair enough. But yeah, they are our player ratings. But yeah, talking of the points, Jackie, you'll be very happy with this. So the points after this weekend, I'm still on 6. I got nothing. Obviously, I said 2-1. Dad, you said 3-2. Like I say, you got how many goals we get right. But obviously, you get points. You're on 5. Jackie, you're on 10. Obviously, you said 2-1. Rich, who's obviously on Discord, does tune into the watch longs. He said 1-0 to Stockport. So you got nothing, like myself. Paul, you said 2-1 to us, so you get a point, which puts you on 10. Rich is on 5. Stephen said 1-1, which is what I was going to say. But obviously, it still didn't quite happen. But he's on 10. And then Ben said 3-2. Again, tunes into the watch longs, as you guys know, and does tune into sometimes. 3-2, he said to us. So he actually went the same as you, Dad, like we said, obviously on Friday. Darth Vader obviously managed to get 2 tickets. He was loving it. He did actually say 2-0 to Stockport. Originally, he said 3-0, but he took the goal down. So obviously, he got nothing, but he's still joint top with 10. Terry said 2-1 to Luton. So obviously, he got a point, which puts him on 9. Dave said 1-0 to us, so he's on 7. Blitz said 1-1 draw. Chat GPT said same as me, got it wrong. And then Jamie also said 2-1 as well. So Jamie's still on 7 and Chat GPT is on 6. So, Jackie, you are joint top with Paul, Stephen, and Darth Vader. So it's very interesting now. It's all heating up. And obviously, we do have a game this weekend, thankfully. So we'll be doing the predictions again on Friday, unless you want to send them even earlier. But yeah, do join the Discord if you're not already. As well, I do put it in there and everything like that. So yeah, you are on 10, Jackie, joint top with, let's say, Stephen, Paul. Paul, if you're in here, mate, you're still up there, or joint up there, shall I say, and Darth Vader. So you're all on 10 at the top. So it's going to be interesting. But if someone gets a game spot on that's just below that, you know, like for example, if I actually got 3 points, decided to get 3 points at one stage, I would only be a point behind. So still a very long way to go, and things like that. But yeah, that's that as well when it comes to that. And then obviously the man of the match ratings, like we say, Keely's got his second vote from us, and then obviously Bramall with his first. With you going with Bramall as your man of the match, lad. So yeah, any final things you want to say before we wrap up today's hat show?
No, it's good that, you know, we're on 4 on the bounce. That doesn't. It's almost like, have we? But you know, in the league, 2 on the bounce now, 2 clean sheets. We need to keep that consistency going. Home game, I think the fans will be, you know, more up for this than they have been recently. And yeah, let's go at them and keep picking up them points. Do you know what I mean? Rotherham are a bit of a yo-yo club. They're on good form at the moment, but again, we should really be beating them. So we just need to keep that consistency and keep being unbeaten and see where we take us, because we have some tough games after that. So we need to be looking to get another 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some, you know, I'd say sticky away games coming up. So yeah, we do need to try and win this game and show really why we wanted this game to be played. And obviously, like I say, it's down to both clubs, but obviously the other games we've had in terms of when an international breaks come up, we have obviously called them off and things. So let's try and keep that momentum going. Like I said in the mini short I did yesterday, let's try and make the Kenny rocking. Obviously, everyone that's going and like I agree with you, Dad. I think it's going to be, you know, right up for it compared to what we have seen, because previously there's sort of been that, because how we've been the last 2 years, it's sort of that nervousness for fans when they have gone. But now, yeah, I think we'll be booming, trying to get 5 in a row, and things like that. So we shall see how that goes. And like I say, we'll be doing a watch along. Obviously, there'll be a match reaction as well from myself. And then yeah, throughout the week there'll just be shorts out, one every day, and then yeah, that will be that for this week. And then obviously when we go into obviously the preview on Friday, we will know if anyone's back, like Brown, maybe Morris, and things like that. So we shall see what happens there. But yeah, big up to everyone that has tuned in to today's Hat Show. Don't forget to smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. And obviously, a lot of new subscribers from the watch along the other day. So yeah, thank you to you guys for that, and a new subscriber in this show as well. So thank you to whoever that was as well. Obviously, we're on the road to 3K. Going to take a bit of a while, but hopefully we can get there and things like that. So yeah, big up to everyone. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, join the Discord, become a member if you can. All of that is in the description. And yeah, we will both see you again on Friday to preview that Rotherham game. So yeah, until then, take care and peace. Come on, you Atters.